I'm here in Roeselare in West Flanders in Belgium, and this is Koers, which is the Museum van de Wielersport, which is loosely translated by my good self as the Museum of Cycle Racing. Inside of here, it is jam-packed to the rafters, full of all sorts of artifacts from the world of cycle racing. This is the place to come if you want to know all about the history of it. I'm so excited, I can't wait. Let's go on in and find out what's inside. So I'm inside of the reception now of Koers, and this is actually a kind of tourist information hub, if you like, for members of the public who are visiting Roeselare to actually come along and plan leisure activities involving cycling. Now, the building itself actually has undergone some serious and major renovation works, taking, get this, about 3 years to complete. It's actually the old fire station here in Roeselare, and now you can see all of the beautiful original features that are actually covered up originally with plaster and such. And probably my favourite bit is the fact they ripped up what was probably a beautiful tile floor and then replaced it with cobblestones. Everyone's favourite, cassé. This is the World Champions Hall. Now, it's been called that because at least 4 residents from Roeselare, the home of Koers, have in fact worn the coveted World Championship stripes, which is some achievement, let alone having 4 members of one town to wear them. Now, years ago, this used to actually be a town hall in effect, even though it was within the old fire station, and that's where members of the public would come along and have their parties, that kind of thing. And also, the firemen, they used to actually do their exercises in here. These days, though, well, it is still used as a venue for parties, as well as an educational venue for members of the public to come along and see informative videos. And also, check out all these bikes that are decorated in here. It's a big place. I'd like to have my birthday party in here. Hint, hint. Now, just downstairs from me here is in fact a cafe, a locker room, showers, that kind of thing, so that riders can actually use it as a hub for their starting and finishing point of their ride. Sadly, the cafe's closed today, but don't worry, I have had my suitable caffeine intake for the day, as is the rest of the museum in fact. It's closed, so I've got it all to myself in order to show you what's here. Now, behind me, check out this. There are certain iconic images of cycling moments in time, if you like. So we've got up there, we've got Greg LeMond, I think there's Chris Boardman, there is Marianne Vos right at the top, I believe. That one there, who could that be? At first I thought it was Johan Museeuw or Bart Wellens. It is in fact Geraint Thomas, but the first person who guesses correctly in the comments who this could be gets John Canning's elbow grease. Well, virtually anyway. Who is it? Let me know. Let's go upstairs and check out what else there is here. Now, I'm here with some caricatures by an artist called Rick Del Neste, also known as Neston. Now, sadly, Neston has just passed away, so my sincere condolences to the friends and family of Rick, because these caricatures are of really famous cyclists, and you're likely to have seen them if you've ever been up the Quaremont climb, which is used in the Ronde van Vlaanderen, for instance. Now, the ones you see at the roadside are absolutely ginormous and they stand out from miles away and they always bring a smile to my face. What is so great is that I'm able to get up close and personal to actual versions of Rick's work, painted by his very own hands. I'm incredibly honoured to be able to do this. And I mean, just there on the end, Tom Simpson, what an absolute legend. These are fantastic. I'm happy enough just to be able to see these. Now, these caricatures, they are pretty large in size. If you think about it, the fact that I'm 1.83 m or 6 foot tall, so they are going to be put somewhere pretty special. And talking about special, let's see what else we can find here. Now, when I walked into this room, I was absolutely blown away and I thought, well, if this is only it, I'm going to go home a very happy man. But believe me, this isn't everything, there's more to come. First up, there's a lot of history behind cycle racing. For example, the culture. Just check out this. These are advertisements, so almost like billboards that they would have been back in the day, advertising cycle races in people's areas. As well as, look at that, beautiful oil painting of a gentleman there. with his winner's bouquet of flowers, I guess. But also the fact that roads are actually named after bike riders here in Belgium. And there's actually a screen here, an interactive screen that you can press and search to see all of those different areas that are named after professional cyclists. That is cool. Have you got a road named after a professional cyclist in your area? Let me know in the comment section. I know of at least 1 or 2 in Great Britain, so there we are, there's a bit of a head start. And then also we've got the kermis. So for those who don't know, the kermis is a staple part of the Belgian community. So once or twice a year, sometimes even more, depending on the size of a village or a town, a fairground comes along. Now, that's not just dodgem cars and candy floss, that also means a bike race. And not just one bike race, normally half a dozen or so over a period of 2 weeks. And everybody comes out and gets involved, including the mayor or the mayoress, that kind of thing. And if ever you've been to one, you'll know just how cool they are. There are people betting on all sorts of random people, including me. I was once up there on one of those betting boards. My odds were very, very long, and no, nobody won any money off of me. There's not many sports out there. In fact, I can't think of any off the top of my head where you have got quite as many teams all battling for one thing at a time. You look at a soccer match or a rugby match, ice hockey, whatever, there's 2 teams battling out. In cycling though, there are so many different colours, and the display in how it's been done here is absolutely fantastic. Now, one of the great things I've just been able to listen into is different commentaries from different nationalities regarding real key moments in time. So, for example, this jersey here. Does it look familiar to anybody at home? Yeah, that's right, the one of Greg LeMond when he defeated Laurent Fignon back in 1989 by the slender margin of 8 seconds. The difference in commentary between the English and French, for example, is pretty different. And I've, well, just taken a real step back down memory lane and had a little listen into that. Of course, the cyclist is in fact a human billboard. I mean, after all, their jersey they're wearing is covered in the logos and name of their particular sponsor. But it doesn't just end there, because a cyclist can in fact endorse different products. So the greatest cyclist of all time, Eddie Merckx, his name, his face, his picture has been put to all sorts of products, from frying fat to washing powder to chewing gum to even shoes. And get this, he's even featured on the side of a cigar as well. Now, another section here is actually the different types of clothing that has passed by cyclists during the generations. Now, even in my short lifetime, clothing has totally and utterly transformed, and I can't believe where we are this modern day, let alone if I was Lucien Vlaminck back in the 1930s, who was a professional cyclist, because Lucien used to have to travel from Belgium all the way to Paris in France. That's right, not exactly round the corner, was it? And well, look at that, there's no lycra in sight. Believe it or not, that was Lucien's overshoes, and this was the winter underwear. Now, quite simply, I cannot imagine that somebody used to have to race or train in probably snow, knowing Belgium, using this sort of equipment. And then obviously there's Lucien's bike there too. Now, moving along, I can actually show you then Eric Van Lancker. So this is from the late 80s, Eric Van Lancker's kit. So we're starting to see lycra introduced, and get this, even lycra topped socks here. I think these are from about 1993. I had a pair in Team Telecom. Horrific they looked, but hey, we all make mistakes. Original aero socks, I guess. So obviously a massive and utter change, although the helmet was still loosely the same. So still a sausage-shaped helmet underneath here, but importantly the bike, totally different, and also the fabrics of that kit too, including this rather nifty extended headset stabilizer, I guess. So it's like a reinforced headset mount. Yeah, I haven't seen one of those for ages. Anyway, then we can look at Jasper Stuyven's kit from the modern day. So carbon fiber bike, fully aero clothing. They are literally worlds apart. This rail blew me away when I looked at it. Even though I remember this, and now we're at this, looking back nearly 100 years, the change is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm so glad I wasn't around then. I would have froze. Of course, with sport comes highs and lows, but certainly one of the highs is being able to get yourself a nice trophy if you win a bike race. And well, I never really had the pleasure of that very often, but here we have got some trophies of various different riders from different races throughout the years, and they do vary massively. And I've never really looked that closely at cycling trophies in the past, but I thought I would. Take, for instance, this one here, actually, for Abraham Alano. When Abraham Alano won the Vuelta back in 1998, actually had an Amstel logo on the front of it. Something that Dan Lloyd would have probably won, actually, if he'd known that back in the day, although he would have been, well, junior, but I'm sure he would have made an effort. Louis Girardin, Grand Prix de la Presse Sportive in 1931. It's got a lady covering her bust almost with long flowing locks behind it, just, I don't know, like a Superman almost style pose. I just find it so interesting how much a trophy can vary over the years, and also the size of it. When you look back in time to certain times, such as this 1948, that is a massive trophy for a race. Okay, it is the Tour de France, but it's for the team award, but still, nonetheless, that is a big old trophy compared to the Vuelta back in 1998. That is almost minuscule in comparison. I'm here with a collection from Jeanpierre, who was a cyclist from Roeselare, who was actually world champion back in 1970 in Leicester. Now, sadly, Jeanpierre passed away in 1971 during a crash in a race just near Antwerp whilst wearing the rainbow stripes. But his sister has actually donated all of this equipment to Koers in order for visitors to actually check it all out. There is all sorts here. There's racing licenses. There is also a diary that his sister made for all of his races. So it actually details where he came in the race, how many people were in the sprint, and that is right from the very young age, you know, from like a youth rider all the way up to senior, probably even including the World Championship victory, as well as even his little first bike, his bikes as a professional, even the suitcase that he had in the Olympics. This sort of thing is what I absolutely love about collectors of cycling. They don't leave anything to the imagination. There is literally everything you could want to know about that rider. And in the case of Jeanpierre, what a fitting tribute to a true champion. I'm joined here by Thomas, who is the Koers director, so the race director, I guess that's the best way of translating it. And Thomas, do you know what? You've actually done me a massive favour by allowing me to visit here, not just because you've fulfilled my obsession, but also I'm not in as much trouble at home now, because I'm just having a look at the library of cycling books you've got, and I didn't know quite as many of these existed. And I've got quite a few of them actually, because I've had a little look through, and I've probably got enough to fill a couple of columns here. But you've just told me about an archive. Yeah. Now, that really, it fills me with excitement and also a little bit of horror as well, because I'm worried that my obsession could get even worse. Because these books, these are in all languages as well, aren't they?
Yeah, not only Dutch, but French, Italian, German, whatever there's on the market, we want to have it. We really want to be the knowledge center about history of cycle racing in Europe and the world, actually. Yeah. And the real heart of that knowledge center is the archive.
Take me to it.
Yeah. We basically try to collect everything that's on paper, but also pictures. We have, for example, these are all posters of cycling races.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look.
Some are beautiful, some aren't, but hey.
That's part of history though, isn't it?
That's part of history. I don't know what I'm opening now, but...
Could be anything. Let's hope it's safe.
You'll see it.
Yeah. Look at that.
I think it was a race for a good cause.
Fiets me in die strijd tegen kanker.
Yeah, it was a race against cancer, but I think it was just something to collect money.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. The smell, by the way, in here, it smells of kind of old magazine and old photographs, that kind of thing.
Indeed,
yeah.
Indeed. We do not only collect posters, we collect archives from cycling organizations, race organizers, or cycling federations.
Okay.
Even from cyclists themselves. For example, when a family or a cyclist dies, an old cyclist, we try to collaborate with the family in order to preserve the personal archive of the cyclist.
Okay.
These are the archives of a guy named Jules van der Hunst.
Yeah.
He was an official with a cycling federation for West Flanders also, and he had a massive archive which he donated to the museum, and this is all about cycling races in Roeselare.
I just saw down there was a box and it even had cigar labels, because of course cyclists, they used to promote cigars, things like that. You can't imagine that in these times, can you? But yeah,
this is a box with cigar labels and stamps.
Stamps, yeah.
And viewmasters.
Oh yeah, that was those things that used to turn around. Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Any famous people? We're not on there, are we? No.
And Jean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would spend all day just in one box, I think. But have you got a favourite?
Well,
have you got a favourite?
I believe my favourite is over here.
Right.
La Vie au Grand Air.
La Vie en Grand Air. Okay, that's French for...
That's French. It's over here.
There we go.
La Vie au Grand Air, but we have other boxes of La Vie au Grand Air.
Yeah.
It's basically, I think it's one of the first richly illustrated sports magazines in the world, and this was a French magazine, very richly illustrated. So a magazine from from around 1900.
120 years old. 120 years old. It's incredible. Here we are, some cycling.
La Course.
Yeah.
The 8 jours.
Some velodrome. Yeah. Velodrome.
8 and La Tour. La Tour. Here you have it.
It's incredible. I can't believe this.
And this is a very rich source for people who are writing a book about cycling history, who are doing research, like PhD students, or they come and do their studies here in the library. Yeah.
That'd be a good PhD for me, I think. Cycling.
Material for I think 20 PhDs. Yeah.
Wow, this is actually, I can't thank Thomas enough for just allowing me to come to this place, let alone the archive. I was too scared to come in here alone in case I started going through books and anything like that, and he wouldn't let me do that on my own, so. Right, I want to see what else we've got here. God. Now, I've already managed to see a few bikes here and there in the museum, but I've just walked through 2 very big doors and I've been greeted with some bikes belonging to absolute true champions and legends of the sport. Now, there are heaps more bikes in here I'd love to show you, but you're gonna have to wait for that. You're gonna have to wait for a different video, so stay tuned for that. So Thomas, where are you going to take me now? You've just, I thought, given me the biggest sort of bombshell, if you like, of information. You said you've got something else to show me. I'm a little bit nervous because, well, it's behind a big black door. Yeah. Take me in there. Just.
Well, it's a small storage room.
Okay.
We can't show everything we have in our collection. So we have some storage rooms in the upper floor and downstairs. Now we're at the upper floor.
Right.
Obviously, it's protected, secure.
Yeah, that's good when there's people like me around. What the... Wow. Okay. We said small storage room. I expected something like I don't know, a very, very small room, but this is... Right, how on earth do you know where everything has come from?
You can see everything has a label.
Yeah.
And everything is in our online database.
Yeah.
So we have the history, the story behind each shirt. This one's for example in a polka dot jersey from Erik Dekker.
Yeah.
Not that difficult to see because it's
even
all over it.
Even I can tell that one.
Yeah. But
well, this one here, C-Link Race Lead 19. That's going to have come from the Isle of Wight, I reckon, in the UK. I don't know, but Tonelli Sportswear, C-Link. That was a ferry across the Isle of Wight from Portsmouth. So, but it's absolutely incredible. You know what I mean? There's jerseys here. It's like, remember that Jack and Jones Danish team?
Yeah.
It's you know, I'm absolutely blown away. Every time I turn a corner, you throw another curveball at me and you surprise me. Look at that. That's fantastic, yeah? Yeah. If you look at how the team finished, it wasn't that far off that, was it? It was always the same. Indeed. Yeah. I mean, this one, Lucien Zeems, Kelme, 1981. Yeah. So.
My birth year.
Oh, there we are. Little present for you. That's great, that. Oh, I love it. But I mean, it doesn't just stop there. There's bike frames hanging up. There's an old Vitus there. I remember that. A friend of mine had one, and it was branded as a Peugeot, that red thing. Honved Botekia. It's incredible. I mean, I'm so privileged. Thank you so much. This actually is one of my favourite jerseys of all time when it was the World Cup Leaders kit. I remember Rolf Sorensen, the Danish guy, racing in this. I'm going to be a while, I think, looking through this lot. I might miss my flight home at this rate. I mean, look, like a little
memorabilia.
Yeah, Miguel Indurain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It is.
All Thomas is thinking is, John, don't break anything, please.
No.
But, I mean, look at these kids' bikes. If I had children, this would be like, I wouldn't want them riding something new and modern and fancy. They'd be riding this, because this would be the coolest bike ever. Imagine having a little kid riding around on that Flandria bike over there. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Or this. Or this. I mean, I don't know what to say. There's a bike over there. 1, 2, 3, 4 saddles on it.
Yeah, quadruplet.
Quadruplet. That is wild, because I've seen old-fashioned photographs of those on velodromes and things.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in my life. We've got a Flandria exercise bike, a wooden bike, a little kid's BMX bike, miniature racing bikes.
Polydor.
An original Polydor jersey being shown to me, teased in fact to me across there.
Indeed.
Wow. Do you have any jobs going here, by the way? Not for a guy like you, he says.
I don't know.
Only joking. I wouldn't be able to cope. I'd be in here all day. Chocolate shack. Wow. Right, I've got to get out of here before we miss our flight back. I do hope you've enjoyed that look around Koers here in Roeselare with me. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I've managed to look at all sorts of bits of cycle racing history I never thought I'd be able to literally touch and get so excited about, to be honest. Every corner I turned there was something which shocked me, including being able to ride on one of these. So let me know what your favourite bit of this video was down there in the comment section. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to come back one day and spend even more time here, because I've absolutely loved it. I don't want to go, but I have got a flight to catch, otherwise I'm going to be in all sorts of trouble. Now, don't forget to check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com, where we have a whole heap of goodies for you to check out and buy and spend for a loved one perhaps. Now, I'm going to carry on getting a few more kilometres in on this bad boy, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget though, check out another video. How about clicking just over there? Hour record on this thing. Easy.